my brain is dull, or I'm not extraordinary, or I've been born like this. Shut up. All these things are just limiting beliefs, and I guarantee you there is a way you can actually recall, like Daniel Kilo was the kind of. In this video, I'm going to teach you everything. Okay, I was able to study this book, Deep Work, and in the book it mentions so many of the secrets to memorize. As it's not about memorization, okay, but there's like a chapter in the book which teaches you on how to memorize, like Daniel Kilo or Kilo. So I want you to imagine two scenarios. The first one is Daniel's brain and the average brain, or my brain. In a span of 5 minutes, Daniel will be able to memorize a deck of cards, or 100 randomized digits, or 115 abstract shapes. Me, on the other hand, if, for example, you just give me this book, just this book, this deep work book, just observe the things as possible. I will be, I will observe. When you ask me a question, what's the name of the book? Deep work. Which color is the book? I'll be, color? Is it green? Yellow? Correct. Oh, yeah. What's the name of the author? I'm telling you, like, that's how I am. That's how I've been. I would say. My brain, it's not that it's dull, okay? I have a good memory. Like, even in school, I would not even study, but I would pass. Okay, I have exceptional grades as well. But visual memory is very, very difficult for me. Like, very difficult. I remember there was a time, there was like a street, it's called Bekaji Street. There's like some of my friends there, and I've visited that street multiple times. But after, like, is it 2 years, 1 year, I visited the streets again, and I was, I didn't able, I wasn't able to find a way out. You can imagine like how bad my visual brain was. I was not able to remember the way out, and I had to look for hours. I was just walking around. I was able to find a street, and slowly but surely, I started to fix this brain. I started to train. It's like a muscle, okay? This visual memory and any kind of memory, in fact, it's like a muscle. And in the book, it mentions so many strategies, basically. So let's see. So there's another. There's a winner. There's a former USA memory champion, Ron White, and also a world record holder of card memorization. The first thing White emphasizes is that professional memory athletes never attempt rote memorization. Rote memorization is basically like read it again and again and again till it sticks. That's how you probably have been studying in probably like school, Qur'an, whatever. That's how you have been studying. And let me give you a disclaimer: studying, memorizing Qur'an, you can use the rote method, okay? Because we probably don't know the verses and everything. You can use that. It's effective, for example, when you're so tired you're not going to memorize, so you'll be able to just revise multiple times, and that's how you'll be able to do. But he explained that we are not wired to quickly internalize abstract information. We are, however, really good at remembering scenes. Have you ever observed, like in movies, like with the scene that really resonates with you, you're not able to forget that. You can imagine for years you're not able to forget that as well. So try to visualize scenes. He mentioned to try to picture the scene as clearly as possible. Most people in this scenario can surprisingly recall a lot of things without any special efforts to remember. If you systematically counted the unique details in this memory, the total number of items would likely be surprisingly numerous. Your mind, in other words, can quickly retain lots of detailed information if stored in the right way. And there are so many, you can read this book. Okay, in this chapter, you can read everything. And I'll kind of take I'll kind of convert it into a PDF and I'll put in the description, inshallah. Basically, the way you'll be able to do is to try to visualize. And he also gave, for example, imagine 5 doors. Okay, each door you enter into a different room. He says you should try to remember big things. Don't remember small things like pencil, paper. No. Try to remember like a desk or a computer or the color of the wall. Like remember big things. Try to associate things as well. For example, like also even Quran memorization is very, very important to also associate, because when you associate, there are moments, for example, let's say I don't want to use the example of pen, but let's use the pen as for example. If okay, blue and green, I wanted to remember, let's say, let's pick any word from like biology and everything. Let's say for example, you want to memorize the word osmosis. Okay, when you look at this, you might associate blue, green. So from this point to this point, okay, when I look at this pen, I remember osmosis because the ink from here to come here. So the moment you look at your phone, remember the word osmosis. I guarantee that's how you'll be able to remember that. And it's like a muscle, just train it, try to recall as much details as possible. Okay, as clearly as possible, try to remember the details. When you do that, as we said, if you don't understand this part, you can rewatch the part of the video. There are two things, like I mentioned. Try to visualize as clearly as possible and try to associate things as many things that you can remember as possible. Because the moment you remember the associated stuff, you'll be able to remember the other thing as well. And I've used that, and also I was able to remember count many, many pages in the Quran. The Quran is like very difficult, like I would say. It's not that the Quran is difficult, but because things we are doing this and everything, it might become difficult. Like in my own scenario, so it was difficult on me because I was not able to remember the verses. And when I try to associate some of the verses, I also try to actively recall. Okay, it's like a muscle. So now I'm able to like recall so many verses. I can say, okay, this is the place to start. This is where it stop. That's try to do that, because when you don't have this, it's an advantage you have to be able to have a visual memory. And if you want a personalized advice, maybe you're struggling with Quran, Hid, and everything. If you want a personalized advice to your own specific problem, I want people to hold me accountable. I want to hold people accountable as well. I want a community of men. So there will be a link in my bio. It's to a community of men, of young, ambitious Muslim men on self-improvement. I would like to end with the ample quotes. Too much attention makes a donkey think he's a lion. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.